Hello, I'm Daniel, and the title of this teaching today is Rest in the Openness of Your Mind. Rest in the openness of your mind. And when I think about that, the first thing I think about is, some people meditate to help them relax. And I don't assign value to that. That's not good or bad. I'm meditating to try to end my suffering, not to relax, but people come to this path for all sorts of different reasons, right? So, what does rest in the openness of your mind mean, though? It is what the famous spiritual teacher Ram Dass was talking about when he said, "Be here now." It's also what the Buddha was talking about when he said this quote, "Do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future, concentrate the mind on the present moments." I'll say that again. Do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future, concentrate the mind on the present moment. That's a big part of what we're talking about doing on this path, is just learning how to be here instead of being somewhere else, being here where I am. And I'm sure you've been in a situation where you really want to focus on what you're doing and your mind seems like a crazy person because it's going all sorts of other places. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about training the mind and also taming the mind so we can place our attention where we want to place it instead of whatever random places it's going. And it'll happen sometimes you're having a conversation with somebody and suddenly you're thinking of what you had for dinner 3 days ago, right? Even though it's not relevant at all. And that gets in our way because we have bad conversations when we're not listening, right? We can't relate to other people if we're not paying attention to them. And not only that, but things like your job, doing your job. If you can actually be present with your work, you're going to do a better job. And I also think a lot about driving, because I think we've all had this experience where you get in your car to go somewhere and you realize you're there and you don't remember the trip, right? Because you were so mentally somewhere else. And that's dangerous. So rest in the openness of our mind means being here. And really what we're talking about here is what are called formless meditation practices. Formless meditation practices are the openness of our mind. That is meditation where we are not focusing on our breathing. We're not thinking of a mantra or visualizing some image, trying to picture some kind of spiritual being, or trying to picture like a river or whatever other things people picture. We're talking about practices dedicated to just being here. Being here. Some of the historical Buddhist masters that I really like emphasized formless practices. Master Hongzhi emphasized a practice called silent illumination, which is the practice that I do the most and the practice I like to teach. I really recommend, there's a book called Cultivating the Empty Field that I really recommend by Dan Layton, and there's another book called Silent Illumination that I really recommend. It came out this year by Guogu. Both of those books are very good on this subject. People ask me sometimes, and this may only be meaningful to part of the audience, and that's okay. But people ask me sometimes what the differences are between Zen and Tibetan Buddhist traditions, or between Chinese Buddhism and Tibetan Buddhism, or Japanese Buddhism and Tibetan Buddhism. And the biggest difference is that these other traditions, the Zen tradition, the Chan tradition, put formless practices more front and center, whereas the Tibetan Buddhist tradition that a lot of people are very familiar with, it has these kinds of practices too, but they're not the first things you learn. You, in fact, often don't learn them for a while in your spiritual journey. These sort of formless practices exist throughout spiritual traditions, I think. Not just Buddhism, but everywhere. In the Tao Te Ching, it says, flow with whatever may happen. That's the Taoist foundational text, flow with whatever may be. And flow with whatever may happen, flow with whatever may be. And that's sort of what it's talking about. It's talking about formless meditation practice. And there's a line in the Bible, in the Psalms, in the Hebrew Scriptures, that says, "Be still and know that I am God." And That is really close to a formless practice, I think. I'm not Jewish. I'm not Jewish or Christian. I'm not going to speak out of turn and really go deep in examining the Psalms, but that sounds like a formless practice to me. Be still, and the spiritual truth is going to come to you if you're just still. We can be here where we are. We spend a lot of time trying to figure everything out and trying to control things. And what if we learn how to dedicate a little bit of time being here? Just try it with me. Just breathe in and out and let things happen. And just pay close attention to the things and the people and the animals around you. The truth is that no matter where we are, no matter what we're doing, there's a refuge from all of the things that make life so complicated and hard. And the refuge is right here. When we come to understand that we can rest in openness, then we can feel more relaxed. We can manage our lives with less anxiety and stress. The past and the future are important, and that is undeniable. It matters a lot what has happened to us, and it matters a lot where we're going, but we need to be careful and make sure we aren't living there, that where we're living is here, because here, the truth is, here is all there really is. And this moment is really the only thing to attend to. We can stop and do this kind of practice any time of day. Just stop what you're doing for a few moments and pay attention. Set reminders, maybe. This kind of training really helps with focus and relaxation, which are things that really bring people to meditation. Just learning how to pay attention is good. So I want to now ask you to try it. Stop what you're doing. Take a deep breath. And just pay attention. Just see the world around you as it is. See the world around you as it is. I'm going to ring my little bell, and I want us to sit together, and we're not going to try to do anything. Don't try to do anything. Just notice what's happening right now. A lot of it is going to be feeling bored, thinking about other things you'd rather be doing. A lot of it's going to be hearing sounds that you didn't know were there and thinking, I wonder what that is. And I want you to just notice it. So we'll just do this just real short, just a couple minutes, and I want you to really see if you can really see what's going on. And you may just think, oh, my mind gets up to some weird stuff, and that's okay. So I'm going to ring my bell. And I do recommend sit up as straight as you can, have your back straight, because if you start to slouch, your back will start to hurt. But other than that, sit however you want. If you like having your eyes open, have them open. If you like having them closed, have them closed. And I will ring the bell again when we're finished. So it'll be real short. And that is it. So thank you for taking the time to listen to me and to sit with me today. I appreciate it. And just try to remind yourself to rest in the openness of your mind once in a while. We don't take time to rest enough. And we can. The truth is, we can just be quiet and just see what happens. Okay? So thank you very much and have a good day.